with a really quick video this morning as I head over to the Wealth DynamX headquarters, and I want to talk to you about the 55% tax, the TAX, nobody knows about, from the IRS. Okay, so 55% tax. What am I talking about, right? Where does this tax come from? Why is it so big? What is it? Now, this tax may not apply to you today. It may not apply to you tomorrow, but as you become wealthy, which is what you'd be doing if you're watching my content, is you're trying to build wealth, it would become applicable to you in your future at some point, no matter what. Okay, so the 55% tax that I am talking about today is actually two different things. So the first one, which isn't really a tax, but it might as well be, is the cost of probate on your estate. Probate. Now, what is probate? P-R-O-B-A-T-E, probates. Probate means when you die. Okay, so let's say you've accumulated and amassed some wealth. When you die, if you've not taken the proper steps to pass your legacy on, probate means that your state government takes over your assets for about 18 months. And they read your will and they make sure that they think that they've interpreted it correctly and distribute your assets according to the will. And if anything is not specified in your will, they distribute it according to state law, regardless of what your will says. Okay, now this might not sound like a big deal. I didn't used to think it was until I learned more about probate and saw it play out a few times. Probate means that if you had a house or some real estate or some money that you wanted to pass down to your kids, if those assets went to probate, that means that your children would not be able to touch those assets until probate was done. So imagine, you leaving money behind for your kids so that they can start investing your estate. You want them to put it in real estate. You want them putting it in sacred accounts and making smart decisions with it. Probate would mean that they couldn't. Until the money came out of probate, the court certified that everything was distributed correctly. They're not going to have any ability to touch those assets. Now, the other thing with probate, on average, probate can cost up to 15% of your estate in legal fees. So when you go to court, obviously you don't just go to court and represent yourself. You have an attorney. Usually it's going to be an estate attorney, and they're going to go through on your behalf and read through the will and make sure that they have a correct understanding of all of it. And you're going to pay them to do that. There's going to be legal fees, lawyer fees, court fees that you will pay to go through probate. It's usually going to be 15% of your estate. So that's where 15% of our number comes from. Now, where does the other 40% come from? Okay, 40% is estate taxes. So get this, this blew my mind when I learned about this, back in the day, estate taxes. Not only does the IRS tax you when you are alive on your income, but all of the income that they've already taxed, all of the money they've already gotten their hands on, when you die, if you have more than $11.4 million in assets, they're taking 40% of anything above that number. 40%, guys. Imagine that. Like let's say you've amassed $20 million. Okay, $20 million. You've got 11.4 of it that's going to be sheltered from taxes. They're not going to touch. But that leaves about $9 million that they're going to take almost half of. Okay, that's going to be about $3 million that you would pay in estate taxes, meaning that your heirs aren't going to receive that money. Your beneficiaries are not going to see those full assets. It's going to go to the IRS, who already took those when you were alive. So estate taxes are a real thing. Now, you might be watching this video and you're like, oh yeah, well, I don't have $11.4 million. Yeah, but aren't you trying to? Like, isn't that kind of the point? Like, you're trying to build wealth so you can become wealthy. So you've got to get out of the mindset of, oh, that's not for me. I don't have that. I won't have to worry about that. Wouldn't you like to, though? Like, wouldn't it be great to be in a position where you do worry about that because you do have that money because you made a decision and a plan to do it? So setting up your estate plan, how do you avoid this stuff? Over the next week, I'm going to be talking about how do you avoid, the estate planning traps that are out there? How do you save money in estate taxes? How do you avoid probate and the costs and the time that go with it, so that your assets go directly to your heirs? Because you didn't do all of this work to build all of this wealth just to give half of it to the IRS and 15% of it to your lawyers. That's not what the plan was, okay? So that's where the 55% tax comes from. Most people have no idea about this. They just wing it. Most people don't even have a will. Like, let alone a trust. They don't even have a will, and a will doesn't avoid any of this stuff. You're still going to go through probate if you have a will. You're still going to get hit with estate taxes if you have a will. And most people haven't even done just that. Like, how do I make sure on paper I've stated where I want my stuff to go? So there's a lot to learn here that I'm going to be going through, and this does tie in to the sacred account. Okay, you guys ready? That 40% tax that I talked about, one of the only ways to avoid it is actually with the sacred account. It's called an irrevocable life insurance trust, and it's one of the only legal methods to avoid and take care of that 40% tax so that it doesn't come out of your assets, so that your family gets the full amount of what you wanted to pass along. And the only way to do that is with the sacred account. So guys, I'm going to post a link in the comments as usual. If you're watching this today and you want to learn more about what I'm talking about, you can go to the link in the comments. It's sacredaccount.com. And on that page, you're going to learn more about the sacred account. Now, if you want to learn more about the estate planning that we're talking about today, how to utilize the sacred account as part of your estate plan to avoid that 55% cost to your estate and to your heirs, I want you to reach out to me. We will give you information. We can help set all of this stuff up, guys. We're a full service. If you need a trust, we can build that for you. If you need a sacred account, we can build that for you. If you need an ILIT, an irrevocable life insurance trust, we can build that for you as well. So again, guys, click on the link in the comments, sacredaccount.com. Again, that is sacredaccount.com. I'm going to be pushing a bunch of content out to you this week. But until then, thank you for watching. Make sure that you do like, share, and subscribe. And I'm going to